Hello and welcome to the Right to be Heard Town Hall. It's a decision that is being debated furiously all across the country. The 4-year undergraduate plan has Indian education in the midst of a massive debate. India traditionally has always had a 3-year undergraduate program. One man wants to change it. He's got teachers furious and students very anxious. Joining us on the Right to be Heard Town Hall today, the Delhi University Vice Chancellor, a man on a mission, Professor Dinesh. Thank you very much, sir, and welcome to the Right to be Heard Town Hall. Let's get straight into the questions. We've got teachers, we've got students, we've got parents, all of them anxious to begin asking you questions. Go ahead, ask the first question.
We are trying to adapt the Indian university system to an international, more specifically an American pattern, which itself is under question even in America and internationally. So do you think, one, that that's a good move? Merely as a question of priority, don't you think that perhaps doubling seats in the university, for example, why shouldn't an LSR and an SRCC and a Hindu all run a second shift in an evening program, have been a greater priority for you rather than introducing a 4-year program?
I do not know where you get this impression from that this has anything to do with America. It may just be a coincidence that this is also 4 years. If you look at the purpose behind the program, the idea is not to copy or emulate anyone, but to enable the student, to give him direction in his life, combine knowledge with a certain degree of skills, give him an opportunity to find a place in society. And that required a little more room for maneuver, for giving him those enabling mechanisms, so giving him hands-on exposure. And so the duration was decided to make it 4 years. It's purely coincidental if you think that we have anything to do with America. And no matter, even if we triple our capacity, do you think we can address the needs of India by just one institution? The idea should be to create enough good educational opportunities all across the country. And let this be a beginning. Hopefully, if everybody chips in, we make a good beginning, people could emulate this, learn from our mistakes, do a better job.
I'm a lecturer of English in a constituent college of your university. About the foundation courses, we've had a chance to take a look at them. And for instance, in a course like Geographic and Socio-Economic Diversity, apart from only one reading, the rest of the readings are pre-1980. So you don't cover the post-liberalization decades at all. What kind of contemporary knowledge is that going to give to the students?
Okay.
Secondly, there's a corollary question that most of the Discipline 1 courses have been made with the 4 years in mind. So students who are exiting after the 2nd or 3rd year are going to get incomplete knowledge. I teach English, and in English literature, a student who exits after the 3rd year will only have done literature up to the 19th century. Whereas all the contemporary and modern courses, including research methodology, are packed in the final 2 semesters.
In all our previous ventures into education, not just in my university, but largely, it's been totally blackboard oriented. I'll give you an example from the Geography and Socio-Economic Diversity program. Students are required to go out into the field and look at what is happening today. Something that they never had an opportunity to do in the past. They will do that in groups. They will do that under mentoring. When it comes to your business of saying that in the 2nd year you only get that much, in the 3rd only that much, certainly. I could do this for 10 years and it would still not be enough. You know what Ghalib said at the end of his life? Jana ki kuch na jana, wa bhi ek umr mein. So let's not get into this game of trying to teach everything.
You haven't answered either of my questions. The first question pertaining to the foundation course is that it's not updated, and therefore the students won't be awake to the contemporary challenges.
The idea
Secondly,
is not.
The second question about the Discipline 1 courses is that they have not been designed keeping the exit points in mind, which is why the breakups, the exits are going to be abrupt.
The idea behind the foundation courses is to give you hands-on exposure to what's happening in the contemporary world. I want students to move out of this business of being textbook oriented.
All the universities adopting this 4-year thing at the same time. Now that has not been done even at the level of Delhi. We have Indraprastha University 3 years, Jamia Millia 3 years. So somebody who's wanting to do a BCom honors from Delhi University spends 4 years. Indraprastha Jamia spends 3 years. Now that's one part of it. So I thought It has not been synergized with the other universities within the NCR itself. And the second problem is with the school system also it has not been synergized. Now, my apprehension is that this will give rise to all kinds of anomalies. Like for example, a student who has done 4 years from Delhi will be required to do only 1 year for the post-graduation. But the same student, if he wants to do post-graduation from outside Delhi, from a university outside Delhi, he'll be required to do 2 years.
So it's a very important question.
When you say that a student goes to some other university with a 4-year degree from here, there are mechanisms. You mustn't think that India just moves arbitrarily or, at a random fashion. There are coordination mechanisms that state machinery have designed. The University Grants Commission has a coordination mechanism. Credit that you get from this program is counted towards that which you go when you go into another university, and you will be given that credit. This will happen 4 years from now. They are already working on
But shouldn't this have been done as a national plan together so that all universities, all students would have been at the same plane? India is a highly academically driven, competitive society. If some student feels his graduation program completes in 3 years and he can hit the market faster vis-a-vis a Delhi University student who needs to wait for 4 years, does that not impact his career prospects?
Rahul, this has many answers. One, of course, at a philosophical level, if you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll never get anything done in life. Two, there's nothing like you having to be there for 4 years. You can get a bachelor's degree with a major in a subject in 3 years. If it's bothering you so much, you can exit in 3 years with a bachelor's degree with a major subject. Two, you can come back within 10 years and complete your degree, get a 4 years degree. There's nothing to stop you. So, and expecting that everyone will fall in place or at the same time for one common goal is expecting too much, and it shouldn't be like that.
Okay, the lady there.
Sir, I'm Dr. Jayanti Datta. I teach psychology. My query to you is, we have recently seen a change in our university whereby we have introduced the semester system, for which the method where that you had invited all the colleges, their academic committees and staff councils to come up with the suggestions. Where was this hurry that you handpicked some people and formulated the foundation courses? As I teach psychology, most of the major components of psychology been inducted only in the 4th year of the course. Why this haste was there?
I must clarify, this I have done ad nauseum, that there wasn't any haste. This was planned with great detail over a long period of time. Remember, there are more than 10,000 faculty in the university. Everybody cannot be consulted. Two, when you're talking about mind, body and heart, it's not a foundation course, it's a non-credit course. It'll run in a different mode altogether. It has nothing to do with psychology. The only purpose of this program is to instill in a child in today's world, when you see so many things going wrong in society, let the child be instilled with values which give him some enabling mechanism towards being a little more compassionate, a little more truthful, a little more non-violent. That's all there is in that program.
But this is
it's non-credit and non-foundation.
But this is a point you hear very often, Professor, that all of Delhi University, especially the teachers, are not on board. They feel that this was pushed through in a hurry. There's a lot of opposition. There have been protests at Delhi University as well. Do you not think that embarking on such a major initiative, such a big change, when all the key change agents, which are teachers, are not on board, is a very risky thing to do?
Okay, let me tell you something, Rahul. Where did you get this idea that teachers are not on board? Let's see how would we measure this? I can give you a simple example. The Academic Council has about 100 odd members. 26 of them are elected teachers, elected by the teachers. Every single time the Academic Council has met to discuss the 4-year program, any aspect, consistently 20 of the 26 elected teachers have always supported. Where do you get this notion from? These are teachers who are active in teachers' organizations. They are activist teachers. How do you judge that?
We are at New Delhi and we are a university. We are not one institution. There are 80 odd colleges which make up this federal university. And I think for us to say that we can do something and it has to be done because nothing perfect can be brought in and that everybody cannot fall into line is a very, very imperial statement. And I think if we make it at New Delhi and we make it in this fashion, then we're just telling the rest of India that it can fend for itself or fall in line. And I think these are very, very frightening spaces to work within in a democracy.
Okay, let the professor answer that. That
Also,
it seems to be
just
imperial.
One
It is
mind.
being thrust
It
out.
is
Yes.
imperial, it is feudal, and it is very unconstitutional. The other point that I want to make, and this is very, very serious, you are not getting your information from activists. Activists are not terrorists. They are not, people who are there to, they're not agent provocateurs. They're also people who live in the society and who are very proud of it and who have learned from an older system and who therefore would stand for it. The point is that the 4-year program, and please check records because finally records speak for themselves, was put on the floor of the university's academic council on the 23rd or the 24th of December. One of these 2 days. So that's how quickly we work when we're at the center and when we have power, you see, because we can change lives of lakhs of people, thousands of employees like that.
Okay, let the Vice Chancellor respond. You've made your point.
These questions have been answered ad nauseum in many fora, and I would be happier moving towards the relevant aspects of the debate. I'll answer this question. I'm not running away from it. But this has been examined at every single level. It isn't that one day the Academic Council met. This discussion had, the Academic Council's meeting, the first meeting was preceded by months of discussion in many ways. And what is so special about the Academic Council meeting and not meeting? It is part of the statutory requirement. It has to meet and take a decision. Is that a sin if the Academic Council meets and takes a decision? That is the way you bring about change because that is the way the Constitution prescribes it. If you don't follow it, you are hanged. If you follow it, you are hanged. I just don't understand.
But does it concern you that people in the university itself feel that it's being thrust down?
How do you think we decided on the 4-year program? In the history of this university, the amount of consultation that this administration undertook has never been done before to bring about this change. We met with thousands of teachers, thousands of students and a few hundred parents. Never been done before. It's on record. After that, I started meeting with my team, a large team of about 10 to 15 senior most colleagues, teachers drawn from colleges in different disciplines in groups of 50 to 70 for 5 to 6 hours at a time. Do you realize how much time and effort is undertaken in this whole enterprise? This went on with hundreds of teachers. A clear view began to meet. We have written feedback on all these meetings. A clear view began to emerge that change needs to happen. And it needs to happen in which it isn't about the duration, it's about the content, methodology, the relevance of what we want to do for today's world, for our students, the future of India. Then we organized an open academic congress. It was open to anyone within the university and lots of other members from civil society participated. Editors of papers, sports persons, even Krishnamacharya Shrikant flew in from Madras to talk about the relevance of sports for education, so on and so forth. 1,200 teachers participated from the university on record. There were parallel sessions focused on different themes. All of them had a rapporteur. Everything was recorded. A clear-cut decision emerged from there that we must have a 4-year program and we must have these ingredients in that. Subsequent to that, a 61-member task force was set up. This task force sat down, deliberated for 2 months on the recommendations of the Academic Congress.
Okay.
Then the task force gave very clear directions on how this could be brought about. That was sent to the Academic Council. That's where the regulations kick in. Prior to this, there were no regulations that required us to do this. But that's the way you bring about it. And then the Academic Council sat. I do not know what's so special about December 23, 24. Allegations are hurled as if we did a crime by constituting an Academic Council meeting on December 24. I checked the figures. Every single Academic Council meeting, the average attendance ranges between 85 to 90. All the meetings.
Okay.
There were 86 people attending this meeting. It isn't that anybody was left out. Out of these 86, maybe there were more than 86, I can't remember, only 6 people dissented. Everybody else supported this. Where is this business of this huge opposition?
Professor
Now, there are
Dinesh Singh,
ways and means by which you can create a certain impression. And you know, sometimes you can even get away with it.
the university is today offering BTech in computer science and all. There is a difference between a pure science course and an applied course and a BTech. We need to understand why applied courses are being termed as BTech arbitrarily. There is no academic content behind this change in nomenclature. What is BTech in psychology means?
Do you know, Rahul, what does PhD mean? Doctor of Philosophy. I could take a PhD in experimental physics. It's called Doctor of Philosophy. Let's get out of this game of what the nomenclature means. Let's not worry so much. People come here from universities abroad with a BA in physics, and we accept it gladly. The idea is not to get too much into this entanglement that what is technology? We need to change this technology. This is the biggest technology that we have in the real world today. Change the mindset. I'm forever fond quoting Kabir on that. This is what we change, so we call it a technology program. Mala kahe kaat ki tu kyun phere moe. Man ka pher le turat mila du toy. That's what these degrees will do.
10 plus 2 plus 3 scheme for the education pattern in India. What about the marginalized section of the society coming from Eastern UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, who are not able to afford 8,000 rupees rent living in Vijayanagar? How will they pay for an additional year? And second thing, 4,000 ad hoc teachers teaching me. How is 2 years diploma creating employment opportunities for them? Suppose a person is doing diploma in history, how will he get employed?
Do you know what is the dropout rate in my university?
What is the dropout rate?
30% annually. And there are about 8% students who drop out in their third year without a single piece of paper. Nothing to show, nothing to gain. We are not encouraging anybody to drop out, but there may be circumstances. If there's something like that happens, you are asked, you have to leave, at least take a piece of paper. And not only that, you can come back within 10 years and complete your third year, complete your fourth year. No one is going to stop you. Your admission is guaranteed. So where is the problem? Right now, 30% are leaving without
He
anything.
also asks the question about additional financial burden on poor students because of the extra year.
So that extra year is only when you require an honors degree. Certainly you have to, something has to kick in.
One thing.
Something has to kick in. You want everything and you don't want to have anything to give for it. That's next to impossible. A certain amount of transaction has to take place. But this university has enough mechanisms to aid students who have difficulty. We have forever, each college has this and the central university has it. And it has always kicked in, always. It isn't something like that. Those who are living right now with a BA program degree or a BSc degree, which is something like a new avatar of the BSc pass, BSc General in BA program, are now in 3 years being given a better degree. So where is the problem?
So first of all, few years ago, the OBC quota was introduced and the seats were increased by 54%. And sir, it has been many years, but the infrastructure has not been developed. Sir, a classroom which had 40 students in it is now having 60 to 70 students. Sir, won't it reduce the efficiency? And sir, after that, if a student is getting a degree of BCom honors in 4 years and another student has got it in 3 years, so will it be considered equivalent? And sir, if yes, won't it be, sir, will it justice for the one who has studied 4 years and got the same degree which the other student has got in 3 years?
I want you to know something. Do you know in one of our best colleges for commerce, which is renowned for its cutoffs and other things, I looked at the figures for the last 3 years. Each year, when the campus placements take place, more than half the number of students remain unemployed. The companies refuse to take them on. Let me add to that. About a year ago, I traveled abroad to a city where, as luck would have it, the taxi that took me from my airport to the hotel was being driven by a young Indian. So we got talking, and he learned I was from the University of Delhi, and then he learned I was the Vice Chancellor. Then he got a little agitated. And he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I have an honors degree in one of these disciplines. I will not even mention the discipline here right now. He said, I came here with such hope. And they told me I really know nothing practical or useful. He said, I beg of you, do something about this. This is not helping us. Let there be something that gives us of value that society recognizes. Let me add something more to that.
See, the students are clapping for you now.
About 4 weeks ago, we called a major firm from Mumbai. A major firm which has huge positions at a very simple level, not any advanced corporate executive. And we advertised in all our colleges. 1100 students were brought in. Those who we felt from third years who were qualified to be interviewed for these jobs. There were lots of jobs. And the company flew in a whole team. Guess how many were found eligible for recruitment?
Why don't you tell us?
3 out of 1100. 3. We are sitting
But what
on
was the criteria?
simple. They were looking for people who had simple communication skills, simple analytical skills. That's all they were looking for. Forget knowledge. Forget this, forget that. They couldn't find these students capable of even that.
But some people who are observing the manner in which you're trying to bring about this change might feel that while you've got the right idea and intent and you're wanting to go in the right direction, are some of your steps disconnected with the ground reality of Indian education? That yes, there are problems in the education system, but things are the way they are, and trying to shake up the whole system might cause more damage than bring about the good that you seek to bring.
Rahul, if this was one man who woke up one day and decided to bring about change, I would say it's a very justified question. Do you believe that the academic council, the executive council, the academic congress, the consultations, do you know how many teachers participated in the actual syllabus making process? At a rough estimate, more than 3,000 teachers. Do you really feel that everybody here is just a bunch of doofuses who have decided to wreck the system? Please give some credit. There is some wisdom on this side.
I was in the committee which he had, the invitation he had given to 50 teachers from the Department of English. I distinctly remember that there was no question of the 4-year course being raised then. He was, of course, very interactive. He had a lot of points to make, talking about change, but there was no mention of the 4-year program. And I distinctly remember asking him, even then, what about infrastructure? We've got these grand ideas, but in colleges, in DU, we don't have rooms, it's sufficient space, we don't have desks, sometimes you don't have drinking water, we don't have fans. Okay, this is a central university, even so.
Shouldn't that be the top priority for you, sir?
Infrastructure is already being put in place, Rahul. You cannot have everything absolutely at the best and optimum level. We have to move in parallel. There is a centralized infrastructure committee that is working overtime to make sure whether I have infrastructure or not doesn't affect a 4-year program. You mentioned fans, madam. If I teach in a 3-year program or a 4-year program, if there are no fans in your college, it's going to affect the student equally, whether it's a 3-year or a 4-year program.
My question is...
Let me finish. I've heard you. I've heard you. Give me a chance to finish.
Okay.
If you don't have fans, I'm extremely surprised that the college, I do not know of any college that doesn't have fans, but maybe there is a college that doesn't have fans. It would be very surprising, and I am so surprised that a college is not governed directly by the university. It's governed by its governing body. They should put the fan in place, but we will help. And there is a centralized infrastructure committee that is moving from college to college. It includes senior people from government who are helping us in this job. So I expect that infrastructure, even Parliament has chipped in. So they're also helping us get our infrastructure in place on a priority basis.
We appreciate many of the points that you are making. I think many of us are actually looking forward to optional papers, to changes, students actually being able to move, because we know that students have that kind of capability. They would like to explore their lives, but the structure that has come in place does not actually fulfill our own expectations. And I think that is also because the letter to make courses came on March 24th. In March, you are going to have a 4-year program. And the second point about, learning mathematical ability, writing letters, or even the mind, body, heart, isn't that something that you have to bring in school? This is higher education, is it not?
Okay.
School
Let
is
the Vice
supposed to be
Chancellor
a place where you lay the values and foundations. The students who come to college must know something. And if it is not, do you not think that you should also spearhead something to bring reform in schools where this foundation course is taught?
You know, I'm Vice Chancellor, not God. I can't change schools and I can't change everything.
You have a voice.
We do our bit, but we need to focus on where we are required to focus. And that's what we are trying to do here.
Do you?
Also, if you can ask your participants not to make speeches, I could answer better.
Do you see this proposal being implemented all across the country after Delhi University, sir?
I have every reason to believe that universities will begin to think in a way that will at least make them examine what they are doing. And one of the hallmarks of this program is that there is continuous assessment. Nothing is written in stone in terms of syllabus, in terms of how we will take the students forward. It is all open to all kinds of self-criticism and examination that is recorded in the minutes of the academic council. And we will move along those lines. Let it not be a static process. एक कहावत है, नीर ढलता भला साधु चलता भला. You need to have a little bit of movement. Cannot have stagnant. Courses haven't generally been revised for long periods of time. This is a time for us to try and understand what are the needs of India, what are the needs of society, and put the university a little more in tune with that. And that is what we are trying to do in the 4-year program.
Sir,
Yes.
you said that an additional year expenditure would only be for those who actually want to go through the whole program of 4 years. Are you then not trying to institutionalize dropouts? And isn't that the reason for the multiple exit points? Also, I would like to know what the real motive for implementing this FYUP is. Is it to actually encourage analytical thinking, which according to me should be the goal of education, or is it merely to create puppets for corporate houses?
Corporate or non-corporate, don't you think students need to get employment? Don't you think they need to earn their bread? Where do you think they will go? 30% are dropping out without a piece of paper. Has anyone cared?
We students took maths in 11th grade just because we wanted to get into BCom honors course. Now maths is not there. It's not compulsory. That gives humanities students a well chance to get into that course. Maths brings down percentage of so many students, but they take it purposefully just to get into BCom honors. Now with soaring cutoffs, I can't even hope for Venkateshwar College at 95.25.
You've changed the rules of the game.
Let me tell you something. These are not decisions that one person takes. This is a decision of the Department of Commerce. Now that's the way they decided to go. You have to give them that. It is their prerogative. The university doesn't play a role in this.
There should have been some coordination with CBSE.
Well, this is a one-time thing, and remember, whenever change occurs, there will always be certain incongruities.
But sir, she
which get
would rightly
ironed out.
feel that she's been left out because
I'm
of what
answering
she
that
thought
now.
were the rules
You
of the
haven't
game
let
and
me
the rules.
finish. You haven't let me finish. Also, why do you name a college? Let me tell you something. Do you think a teacher in any other college gets recruited in a different way? Exactly the same conditions apply when you recruit a teacher, no matter which college. Does the degree change? The degree doesn't even mention the college. And 3, have faith in yourself. You go into a system, the same curriculum kicks in. The same teachers, the same quality of people will teach you. It's a University of Delhi program.
We from the outside view, we feel that probably teachers need to really gear up for the changing world. The world has gone on online. The fastest companies today are probably online, mobile app companies and so on. So are the Delhi University teachers being geared up in certain fashion?
On the lighter side, try messing around with the teacher in my university. But that's not true. We are orienting teachers. Already, I think about 800 teachers have been, or maybe lesser, but around that number have already been oriented. As regards technology, The university is working in a major way in tandem with many government agencies. You know, the National Knowledge Network has been brought to our doorstep by the government of India. It's a 1,000 megabyte high-speed internet highway. Through that, now we are taking it to every single college. We have set deadlines. We expect that by the end of July, every single college will be enabled through the National Knowledge Network, and we will be bringing in a certain amount of technology support for teachers and students within the classroom. And that's important. I would be so happy if student in college A can talk to a student in college B through this network, or a teacher from college A is able to give a class to a class in college B or the entire university. And we are trying to enable that.
Very first thing, if the colleges does not matter, then the cutoffs for every college should be same. And next thing, our colleges are definitely mentioned in our mark sheet. Next thing, for the placements, I would like to inform, the only good company that came here in Delhi University last year was Capital IQ. BPOs come here recruiting the students. You should rather focus on getting good companies in Delhi University, and and also to increase the employability, your placement team should work nicely.
Do you know, up until last year, the university didn't even have a placement program. I have begun to put these things in place now. Give us a little time. I don't have a magic wand which I wave and everything gets sorted out. But we are in a situation where we are sitting on a time bomb. 60,000 students graduate each year. And do you think what's happening to them? Do you realize there is no data? Whenever I have looked, I find alarming data. Whenever. We have never collected data in an organized fashion. We have begun to do that now. The placement program has become much more professional this year than it was last year. Next year it will be even more professional.
Myself was part of the academic committee meeting held on December 2012. And in that meeting, yes, it is true that 6 dissents were there. And my point is that 80 people who did not dissented are taken as they have supported this program, but they also mentioned some suggestions which were ignored in formulating the final structure of the 4-year program regarding workload, imbalances, appointments and all that. My specific question about the 4,800 teachers in our university are on ad hoc basis, and in July, with the implementation of 4-year undergraduate program, more than 1,500 these ad hoc teachers are going to be out. What about the suggestion we have mentioned in the academic council meeting? You have not taken care of that.
Which are you talking about? The appointments?
He's talking about regularizing ad hoc teachers.
Yeah. Until the program was in place, Dr. Negi, there is no way we would know how many positions are really going to be needed in each college. And so you have to wait. If you really expect that everything will fall in place at one instant of time, that doesn't happen. The exercise of calculating the number of positions required in each college has now been completed. It's complete in each and every college. 2 days ago, the Dean of Colleges wrote to every principal to start the process of formal selection in regular positions. And they will get filled up. 2. I checked the figures randomly for 4 years ago. The number of ad hoc teachers, there were about 2,000. There was no 4-year program, there was nothing in place. So this hoo-ha about a 4-year causing this huge ad hoc backlog is certainly misleading. But as I said, until the program is in place, you really do not know what is the exact workload. The workload has been calculated.
Okay.
The process has been initiated.
Okay, I want the lady to ask the next question.
मेरा एक ही सवाल है यहाँ पे कि हमारे यहाँ बैठे हुए स्टूडेंट्स जो इस बात को कह रहे हैं कि 2 साल का डिप्लोमा लेने के बाद उन बच्चों की क्या स्थिति है, वो किस तरह के डिप्लोमा होल्डर्स होंगे। मैं समझती हूँ क्या उससे बहुत बेहतर नहीं है भारत सरकार द्वारा चलाए गए ITIs, जिनमें ऑलरेडी एक टेक्निकल नो हाउ के साथ बच्चा जो वहां से डिप्लोमा लेके निकलता है, मैं समझती हूँ वो अपनी किट के साथ अपनी एक छोटी सी दुकान, एक छोटा सा खोखा निकाल के बैठ जाता है और वो अपनी कमाई करने लगता है। मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि जो बच्चा दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में आता है, हम उसको 2 साल के बाद
अगर उसको ड्रॉप आउट्स को कवर करने के लिए एक डिप्लोमा का कागज पकड़ा देते हैं, मैं नहीं समझती हम बच्चों के साथ ये न्याय करेंगे, मैं नहीं इसको जस्टिफाइड समझती।
I want to ask you, every year, हर साल जो हजारों बच्चे छोड़ के चले जा रहे, उनके बारे में कोई नहीं सोच रहा। आज से नहीं, बरसों से मैंने कितने सालों के आंकड़े निकलवाए। हर साल हजारों छोड़ के चले जा रहे हैं, पहले साल में, दूसरे साल में, तीसरे साल में कोई कागज नहीं मिलता। अभी भी हम किसी को नहीं कह रहे कि छोड़ के जाओ, और मान लीजिए मजबूरन कोई छोड़ता है तो कोई कागज लेके जाओ और 10 वर्ष के अंदर कभी भी आके कंप्लीट कर लो, एडमिशन गारंटीड है। तो मैं इसमें ये समझ नहीं पा रहा हूं, 3 साल वाला प्रोग्राम तो सबके लिए खुला है। 3 साल में आप बैचलर्स डिग्री विद अ सब्जेक्ट मेजर ले सकते हैं। हम उसके लिए पूरी तरह से आपको जो है सशक्त कर रहे हैं, उपलब्धियां दे रहे हैं, सब कुछ प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। तो दिक्कत कहां है? मैं तो कह रहा हूं मजबूरन जो छोड़ रहे हैं उनकी भी तो सोचो, वो कहां जाएगा बच्चा?
Okay.
Professor Singh, I have a question related to the foundation courses. I understand you talking about the strength of them in building life skills and enabling students, but these are not related to any specific discipline. For example, the course on geographical socio-economic dimensions, which department of every college is going to teach? Is it economics department or sociology department? If it is sociology, I teach sociology at Maitree College. My department was not even consulted in framing the syllabus for that course. So there are going to be these kind of discrepancies. In my college, suppose we as a department offer it. In JMC, the college opposite us, economics department might want to offer it. So there is not going to be uniformity in the way the courses are going to be taught.
All I'm trying to emphasize here is that our education has become so contained within a single discipline. You know, there are silos that have been created and you don't go outside that. The whole purpose of the foundation courses is that they should not be confined largely to a single discipline. There should be hands-on, transdisciplinary work, and therefore they do not conform to sociology or geography. And when it comes to teachers teaching in the same standard, you must give a little bit of credit that there is some wisdom on the other side. Teachers are being oriented in every single foundation course discipline in a professional manner through our Center for Professional Development. As I talk to you, they are all being trained, they are all being oriented, and therefore there will be a certain degree of uniformity. It is that one college will teach in some arbitrary way and the other will not, and there will be constant mechanisms have been put in place by constant rechecking, re-energizing and refurbishing of the teaching mechanisms will happen not just this year, each year.
Okay, no, go on quickly. You asked your question. Give somebody.
What does workload have? 1 minute. What does workload have to do with it?
Teachers are basically thinking of piling them with extra work.
No, a teacher only teaches that which is prescribed by the UGC. I have no powers even if I wanted to make a teacher teach extra or less.
1 second, 1 second. Yes.
A workload is prescribed by the University Grants Commission regulations and you have to teach that much, no more, no less.
Okay, go on.
Sir, my question would be of interest to the students present here, and it is related to the additional eligibility criteria for which most of the colleges have put an application to the university. Now, university has earlier said that they are not very keen that the colleges should put in these additional eligibility criteria for various courses, but nevertheless, most of the colleges have put up their applications with the administration. So, what is the take of the university regarding this? Because no communication has still reached the colleges about
The
this.
university has made its stand very clear. It does not like additional eligibility criteria beyond the few basic requirements that are necessary. For instance, if I remember correctly, I cannot remember every detail, but if you want to enroll in economics honors, the additional eligibility is that you need to have maths at the school level. I presume that is so. That is a prerogative of the department. Point is this: why do we not allow additional eligibility? Because what happens is, I observed this personally in the past, many colleges put up a certain bunch of additional eligibility for the first batch of admissions in the first cutoff. Then they decide to change it. They change the rules suddenly, midway, and a different set of criteria brought in, and a whole bunch of students who were expecting to get in because of the first set of criteria suddenly get debarred. That's not fair. You should have the same set throughout. So the idea should be to keep them to a minimum. keep them to that level that the students also understand
Okay.
what are the criteria.
Vice Chancellor, you've shaken up the system, you've stirred a hornet's nest, you've aroused passions. Hopefully, this platform served as an opportunity for students, for teachers to better understand you, and for you also to get a sense ground up of what are some of the concerns teachers and students and parents and counsellors have. For joining us on the Right to Be Heard Town Hall, Professor Dinesh Singh, thank you very much. Thank you all for participating in our program. Thank you.
Thank you.